start to draw, come along with me. How to draw cartoons with John-Marc on TV. You've got your paper and your pencil in hand. We'll begin together just the way we planned. We can draw a fish, we can draw a house, we can draw a hero or a tiny mouse. Being creative is what I love to do, and I want to share the best way with you. So take a seat and let's begin. Simple lines and a happy grin. How to draw cartoons step by step we'll see. Come draw along with John-Marc and me.
How to draw cartoons with John-Marc. Hey, do you have a pencil and some paper? Let's begin today's lesson. All right, let's begin this lesson, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be quickly sketching with my mechanical pencil, and then I'm going to be following with the B, 5B, and the 2B lead graphite pencil. So this lesson is going to be on a little outhouse in the middle of the desert. And what I'm just doing here, really quick and simple, is very lightly sketch. I don't go very hard whatsoever. I believe the lead that's in my mechanical pencil is B. So it's a really, really soft lead to begin with, which I like to use a lot. So this little outhouse I have in a 2-point perspective because you can see two sides of it right now, the angle, how it looks. So let's create like a little cacti here. I'm going to add some rocks on the bottom, right in front of it, in the distance. This lesson is just to share with you some little points on when you're working on conceptual ideas or just want to have some fun rendering, creating and sketching. Very simple lesson. It's going to be a very long one because I'm actually going to do some shading once again with the B and the 5B and the 2B graphite pencil, not the mechanical pencil that you see here. It's going to be more of a traditional and how I hold and shade it. Little tips I'll share with that, but let's create another like cactus here. What's really good with this lesson is you can actually do all the grayscale, and from there you can actually kind of see the tone of how the art looks, a little bit step above from just line art, or you can use an even nice rapidograph pencil afterwards, or even do stippling with it, or taking it to the next level and coloring it in with watercolors if you like too. There's many different ways of completing this little lesson. But the first thing I just want to really take home is how simple the sketch that I'm working on right now. This is just like really, really light and loose right now. And you can see little mountains in the background. This is like out west, like maybe Utah or Arizona. And I'm going to have little stones here and there, some grass here and there. This is a lesson that I did many moons ago, should I say. A little simple little step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm just taking it to the next level and I'm shading it in. And you can take some tips from that then. So as you can see here, I have different size rocks. The cacti, I have those 2 there. A little pathway coming towards you, or is that a shadow, or is that just how the topography of the sand actually goes? Let's see. Okay, what else can we add here? Okay, so I'm going to show some more detail here. I'm going to go a little heavier now with the mechanical pencil, and this will be like the boards, okay, the building of the actual outhouse. Yeah, and I'm not using an eraser whatsoever because this is just a very fast thumbnail. And if it comes out really nice, then I could take it to the next level. This is something I like to do a lot. And we learned this when old traditional animation. One of my teachers was a former Disney animator that worked with Walt Disney in the 1930s and 40s for over 13 years. The techniques that I'm sharing with you is what I learned in school. He was our teacher and he was also my mentor. I worked with him on many projects on the summertime for 3 years. So what I've learned from him and many other great artists that we had as teacher, I'm sharing with you right now. All right, so this is like the cutout inside of the little outhouse there. I'm just going to shade that in really quick. So here, what I'm doing here, this is almost what I would call like step two on how I draw. And I go first really quick sketching, really light, and then I come back a little bit heavier, and it's kind of like leaving the outlines. And again, this is just to give me some pointers and say, okay, does this look good? Do I like it? Sometimes if there's something to be changed, I can always change that in the final version. But again, this is just a good representation if you're working with a client or if you're working in a company that you're doing layouts for a particular scene, and you can quickly come up with a lot of different scenes really quick, not worrying about how they may look, because they can always change that for the master one. And little rocks here, little loops here, a little bit more. All right. All right, a little bit more here. So, as you have probably have seen many of my lessons, I love doing backgrounds and rocks and trees and so forth. That's just something I love traveling, and this is all in my memory. So you may need references, and that's what I share. So you may need to do a whole lesson on yourself on a whole sketching out a whole bunch of different rocks, smooth rocks, square rocks, tiny, big rocks, how they might look. You can explore on the internet and find them, all variety of different shapes of rocks, sketch them out. So you start to play around with that, and also like the cactus, how the cactus might look like. In this case, this outhouse, what type of wood, kind of falling apart, not perfect. And this is just a simple cactus I have in my head, but and there we go. A little one on the other side. Not pretty much similar. The two that I have, very similar size and shape. Not too worried about that. And the lines in there. So again, yes, I do references. A lot of times I might, before I do a little lesson, or if I need something when I'm drawing for a client, I might need to get some references on what a cactus looks like, different shapes. Okay, I could have the ground cactuses. I actually have some of those growing in my garden now, those small ones that are about to bloom in the springtime now. But I'm just going to use those two big ones right now on the side, and little rocks in the distance there. Just create a little line to give a visual. So I have like a foreground, midground, and background right now. Just simple. Nothing too complex right now. That's like the rock formation that you can see in Utah and in Arizona, and the Navajos out like Monument Valley and so forth. Little grass here and there. All right, a different type of rock. Maybe like it's kind of like almost like a clam, has different type of texture in there. Grass here and there. Yeah. Okay, that's looking good. Let's start the other cactus over here now. And again, when I'm sketching, you probably just do the same thing. It's like, why do I start from here? And on the other side, it's whatever my visual that caught my attention. And I'm like, okay, I want to do the cactus now. And maybe I want to do like something on the outhouse, or do these rocks that are right next to it. So whatever leads me to take that step, like this little rock here. I'm going to go in the foreground. So what I'm working on right now is in my mind formulating also when I'm sketching how the shading might be, where the light source might be coming. And if I had to color it, what time of the day would it be? Morning, noon, or night? The season that it is. Is it a rainy season or is it a drought season? Most definitely, since it's in the desert. And the tones of the rock, are these like red rock orange or the steel blue? Now let's make some far distance mountains there again, and all coming through there. That's more of them in the background, little rocks here and there. So yeah, when I'm drawing, that's how my imagination's kicking in right now. In this case, it's not for a client and it's not for a project, so I can be really loose and have a lot more freedom. But if you're working for a client, you may not have all those freedom, because they're going to say, these are the kind of rocks, this is the kind of cacti, and this is the kind of background that I would like to go by, and you just follow those steps. And it's not hard either. It's a little bit more controlled imagination because you can't be freedom and say, yeah, I want to have pine trees in the background, and that's not what they're looking for. In this case, we can do that because I'm just using my imagination. Now, let's take the next pencil. So I'm going to actually be using the B pencil now. Number B. Okay, as you can see, that's the B. And by holding it certain ways, you can hold it, laying it down there, and you can get the side of the actual lead, which gives you more coverage than the straight point. B is a very light weight.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And now, back to our show.
So what I want to make sure is so I don't smudge it with my hands. Sometimes I kind of lift it up, or you might even grab a piece of paper and put it in that area. All right, so here I'm just shading a little bit, going back and forth, a little bit heavier now. You know, switch the pencil around from time to time. All right, the side over here. Okay, yeah. Let's shade this a little bit more here, a little bit heavier, a little darker on the bottom. Just going to play with that one. All right, a little bit heavier. So what you can do when you're shading, this is a good lesson on practicing on another piece of paper. This is just regular flat 8.5 by, 11 by 17 paper. If you're doing bristle with texture, a little smooth or hot press, cold press, you're going to have a different feel that the lead actually hits it. If it's smooth or is it texture, different effects, different materials. In this case, this is really a smooth individual paper. Let me get the edges over here a little bit more. All right, that's looking better. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is just going a little heavier, so like the boards are not perfect. Little cracks coming through there, here and there. There's some the wood grooves of veins in there, different shapes. Now I get the little, there we go. A little different, not keeping the same patterns. And I'm going to just shade this side just a little bit darker, going back and forth. Start heavy and go lighter, lighter, lighter. So I'm kind of pushing a little bit of pressure here and going lighter, lighter, lighter. Not so heavy right now. Start on the next one. A little bit more lighter. I'm putting less pressure on it. So doing traditionally is key than digital because you can actually learn for what you're doing. So let me get the heavier brush. Graphite. This is a 5B, so it's a lot softer. So barely touching gives you this level from the 2B. So the same thing, I'm pushing down, I'm going lighter, 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 lighter. I'm not pushing as hard now. And that's the purpose, again, that what I was just about to say. When practicing traditionally, art is so much more powerful than just going right to digital. You lose this understanding of the feel of the material and the method that you're doing, in this case with graphite pencils, because you can't get this effect on the computer, the feel as well. So I highly recommend starting traditionally and still practice traditionally on all different mediums. When you go to the computer, it's another tool, but it's not the same feeling altogether. Yeah, so when I shadow with this one here, you can see I'm barely pushing on too hard, and I'm getting the exact, I'm getting all that underneath there, the shadow. I'm not going to smudge this. You can have like little smudging tools. You can use your finger or a piece of paper or even like paper towels or tissues to help you smudge, the softer the pens, and it kind of blends it in. I'm just going to leave it so you can see the pencil effect more so. All right, a little shadow, a little heavier and heavier. Let's get some of the rocks. There, a little heavier on this side. It's maybe lighter on the top. Not so dark. Let's get some of these rocks here. Let's see where there's shadow, like right here. So it's a little flat on the top. The light's hitting it. Same thing here. More shadow on this side. The light's hitting it on the top. More shadow on the back side. Same thing like the cacti here. I can come back to those areas. This is just an overall one shot, putting some shadowing and the effect, and then I can come back and add some more detail. There's shadow underneath that cactus arm there, like the sun or the reflecting, whatever it is, a little heavier shadow. Even from that the cacti on there. All right, let's get a little, let's get this a little bit darker in the background there. Yeah, to give some contrast. And likewise, those are the mountains in the background. And as you can see how I'm holding the pencil, it's almost like you can drop it and just pick it up. I still have the side. Sometimes what I'll do is when I'm working with a soft lead, I'll have to rotate the pencil so it doesn't get too flat. Not to say too flat, but it might be a little sharp and different. And just by rotating the pencil, you're kind of spreading the lead a little bit evenly on the graphite pencil. Let's go heavier on those little areas. But again, since this is a 5B, I don't have to put too much pressure, and I automatically get a lot of weight, a lot of tone on this graphite here. Let's go a little bit darker underneath it there, a little bit more here. Build up. You can use an erasers, or kneaded erasers are good to give you more like highlights on stuff, and like hit them here and there. Again, this is not that level of drawing that I'm going to be doing under the time constraints. I'm trying to make it very quick, should I say. But if you'd had like a good 2 hours, 3 hours or more doing this cartoon, it will look really, 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 really good. More you spend in it, and this is not to go on that level at this time. I could show you a finished one, maybe. That's if you want me to or not. Send me a little message and say, yeah, I want to see you do one 4 to 5 hours long. Those are back in the days when we had to do homework assignment in school. We had 10 classes a week, and we were almost up 24/7 doing all those homework assignments at the school I went at, the art school. Yeah, a little heavier now. So now I'm going to use that 5B again. I'm just going to go really right with the point now, so I can get a nice, rich, dark line on that. All right, a little bit darker on that side. You can add some like little speckle circles or texture on the rock if you wanted to. All right, another one in the back. Let's get a little bit more detail. So that's using the straight part of the point of the graphite. You get that detail a little bit more. But when I drop the pencil, kind of pick up, I get the flat side of the lead, and I can get more done like right here. Okay, I can still get that darkness, but not that sharp edge, but just soft. And I like that dark edge, and I can just push a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, get heavier and heavier and heavier. A little bit more heavier over here. A little bit more of a shadow, gets that little darker. You can just see the building, how every time I come back, I'm adding a little bit more contrast, a little bit more depth to it. Let's get a little bit the point on there at the edge. Just put like the lines in the desert. Yeah, they have those different lines in the rocks. Pretty cool. Each area has a different color. Yeah, let's get this a little bit more. Like I was saying, like little spots. These were like little parts of the rock texture. A little heavier on the bottom. Yeah, I feel good what I see right now. I feel very comfortable.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And now, back to our show.
I like how it's actually turning out right now. It's looking good. Yeah, a little shading there. Yeah, this would be definitely a nice one to do on watercolors. Not using this illustration, what I finished. This would be like laying on the side because it can kind of help me with the tones, and then redraw it on a nice bristle, thicker paper for the watercolors. And then from there, you can use this as a little comp for you. All right, a little heavier on there. I get heavier down here now to more shadowing. All right. coming to the near finish of this one right now. Let's get that little curve there. All right, underneath, that's looking good. The outline. Yeah, what color is a cactus? Is it like that army green? Or you could be using your own imagination, because they could be blues, they could be orange, they could be red. Since it's your world, use your imagination. So like in here in the rock here, you can see I'm trying to split that rock in half and give more depth in between those two and down here. Yeah, that looking better. A little different. Yep, yep, yep. All right, so I hope you learned something with using several different graphite pencils. It's not that these are my favorite ones. I just pull these three out with my mechanical pencil to start off with. I'm going to be making more lessons like this so that you guys can understand when shading and putting down different types of material. So again, sorry, I was thinking that as I'm talking, if I did this on a different medium, on different paper, on bristle, it would definitely have a different feel together, or even on an illustration board on there as well. Here we go. A little heavier on this side, a little darker on the bottom, going up lighter. And let's get the sides here a little bit darker too. And just random, so it doesn't have to be perfect again. All right, a little bit here and there, looking good. Let's get some grass blades here soon. Let me get these aligned to the rocks, some grooves. Okay, what can we say? A little. Oh yeah, let me get some of these rocks that I left here in the pathway. Get them a little standing out here and there. Yeah, let's just shade this in a little bit so it's not so white in there likewise. But yeah, I feel pretty good with this, how it looks. Maybe get the door a little darker there. Yeah, just on the top a little bit more. Yeah, I could have probably gone even further, a lot more contrast, a lot darker. This is almost like all mid-tones. And when I mean darker, I mean real, like 85 to 95% more or less. The contrast will be stronger. But I feel pretty good with this for right now, simple. I'm going to have some clouds here right now, soft clouds. And intentionally what I'm doing on the side, of course, it's just a little bit easier than using the tip of the pencil so you don't get a hard edge. Kind of get that soft feeling with the pencil there. Little one over here and there, a little darker maybe. And there we go. It's like a sunset feel maybe in my head. Get some clouds on the other side still I'm seeing. Let me get this one done first. Like one over here underneath in the background and one over there. Yeah, it looks better. Space. You can even add some birds in there if you want to. A lizard or a gecko on the rock. Using your imagination is the key here. Yep, looks pretty good. So, as always, let's sign and date. Share with your family and friends. Thanks for watching this episode.